you need to plant.
Yes.
Now we need to talk about plant management, and I'm talking specifically about pruning. Pruning gets me every time we talk about it on the show. I'm like, I don't know what to cut. I don't know what to leave. So walk us through what we need to prune, why we need to prune, and how to do it right.
So this is all about trick questions today.
Okay.
Because everybody always thinks fall, put on the plaid shirt, get out the chainsaw, lumberjack. It's a good moment. The truth is, most of the plants that we think about pruning in the fall shouldn't even be pruned in the fall.
Oh, really?
I know, and everybody's kind of like, oh, I just did it. Too late. No. So we're going to talk about what you can prune and what you shouldn't, all right?
Okay.
Obviously, on certain plants like this, you want them as standard. Anything that's out of sight, you want to prune. However, on a hot, dry summer like we had across North America,
yeah,
if you prune right now, guess what this plant's going to do?
Die?
Send up new growth.
Oh, so it's going to do the exact opposite.
It's going to say, hey, it's nice outside. We still have warm temperatures.
Yeah.
Let's grow. We can send up new growth. That new growth is going to die, and you're going to end up with little brown twigs. So as much as you think this is great, and thank Terra Greenhouses for letting me prune their trees, because now they're going to have new growth and die, that looks beautiful.
Yes.
Should have been done in the spring.
And how did you know what to cut there? Are those like the errant hairs on a head, like the split ends?
Exactly the same. You know how you talked about you wanting more hairspray to hold those bangs in place? That's what we're doing. We're making it look good just like hair. It is a visual effect only on this type of plant, okay? And now you can see, it looks so much better.
Yeah, it does.
And that honestly is going to send up a ton of new growth. At this time of year, even though it's starting to go colder at night, it still says, hey, there's lots of moisture in the air. I'm getting rain. As Frank said, the soil's nice and warm. Let's grow.
So when should we be pruning this guy then?
Spring. Spring, because this is an ever-blooming, or it's evergreen, so it's going to stay green all year long. Okay, so there's not a point where the leaves drop off like some trees as an indicator. Which is a perfect example of our next one. Okay, so let's talk about this weeping red bud. I'll bring it up here.
Lovely.
Oh, I'm not hurting the tree, I promise.
No trees were hurt.
So you're starting to see that the leaves are turning.
Yes.
And what that means is the sap is now going down into the root system of the tree itself.
Okay.
So there's no sap, there's nothing happening in these trees. It's not doing photosynthesis, so there's no chlorophyll. Okay. Good time to prune. Because now it's not going to look after, it's not going to send new growth out because it's already pulling all the nutrients to the ground for the winter.
That makes sense.
So you can prune.
Okay.
The one thing I always tell people though about this type of tree is it's got a weeping branch.
Yeah.
Okay. It's designed to weep and cascade down.
Right.
If you prune all these out and you make short little stubs like this guy here, I'm going to hold that so the camera can see it. If you make short little stubs like that, they're going to look terrible going into the winter and even worse going into spring.
Okay.
You want to let the tree do what it's designed to do.
Keep it weepy.
Keep it weepy. If you have to remove a big branch, if let's say there's one getting in the driveway of the car, take off the whole branch right at the tree trunk.
Oh, okay.
So you don't prune the edge, you take it all the way back. That holds the shape of the tree, but it gets the offending branch out of the way.
Will that then see new growth?
That spot
and it'll grow out the right way?
It might see new growth. The truth is the energy that the tree would have put into that branch is now going to the other branches even more. They'll grow even happier.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, easy one. Oh, I'll get this out of here.
Can you do it?
I can do it.
Good stuff.
Evergreens like this guy.
Yeah.
And cedars. Anything that sends out new growth in the spring, the new growth is always a different color. Okay, they're called candles. That means if you have a tree like this that has nice green growth in the spring, you do not prune this tree until that new growth happens. Okay, so you do not prune your evergreens right now because if you're pruning these off, what's it going to do?
Die. It'll grow.
You're going to get damaged.
Die.
Absolutely. So you want to
die.
Just like that. I love the technical. It's going to die. So again, for evergreens, unless you want to do a little bit of shaping, leave them alone until spring. Okay. And don't stress about it.
Don't stress it out.
No,
I'm stressed out because there's a lot of rules right now.
A lot of rules. All right, pulling up an apple tree. A lot of people, millennials, Generation X, everybody's into growing fruit right now.
That's nice.
Myself included. I love it. This little tree is going in your front yard, surprisingly, because you need to grow more fruit.
Yeah. And it's an apple tree?
It's an apple tree.
That's pretty cool.
Right? When should you prune it?
I don't know.
Not now.
Okay.
So Tracy's not going to prune this tree.
I'm not going to do that.
Again, this is the type of tree that all the leaves have to completely fall off before you do anything. Okay. And apple trees fruit on these spurs. So this little branch coming out, that's where the fruit is going to be. So if you cut this off once the leaves have fallen off, guess what you don't get?
You don't get any apples.
You don't get any apples.
That
so
would be sad.
That's the point. So when you're pruning apple trees, there's a whole technical side to it. And I always encourage people to look it up before you start hacking the apple trees.
That's true.
But you really want to open up the crown. Allowing more space in the center here between these branches is the right way to do it. It adds airflow, but it also adds sunlight. So if you do get apples, they get sunlight, then you get ripe apples.
Got it.
That's the key.
Okay, so you're just trying to fix that up so that everybody can grow properly the way it should. That's the
Exactly.
point of this. And don't do it now.
Don't do it now, Tracy. Another thing to remember is if the things are flowering at this time of year,
Yeah.
you do not prune them.
Okay.
You leave them because those flower on new growth, which means they can be pruned in spring or at the end of the winter. You know, cut them to the ground, trim them back. Annabelle hydrangea is a good one because it flowers in the fall. If it flowers in the spring, don't prune it now either.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you're going to prune off all the flower buds. Prune that after it flowers.
After it flowers.
After it flowers. So once it's done, you're good to go.
Oh my gosh, there's a lot to think about.
Rules.